Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Hey, what's up, Life Transformation Radio listeners? Thank you so much for joining us today. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and international best-selling author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 90 countries with close to 50,000 dedicated listeners and hundreds of thousands of downloads on your favorite podcast platform. So I want to thank you so much, whether you're joining us live or you're joining us on the recording during your podcast time. It means a lot to us that you listen to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing, highlighting that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also join our Facebook group at Life Transformation Radio Community and never miss an episode by subscribing to Life Transformation Radio on your favorite podcast platform like Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, CastBox, Google Podcasts, Pandora, wherever it is that you listen to us. You can listen to us live at blogtalkradio.com/Life Transformation Radio, or listen to us on Apple or one of the other ones that we just mentioned. We also have a YouTube channel, so subscribe there as well. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing human beings having an impact in the world around them. And my guest today does exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show, call us up if you're joining us live at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. And with that, please help me welcome to the show my guest for today, Andrew Oakes. Andrew, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Thanks for having me on, Sean. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty pumped. You know, I've done a lot of different managing stress, talking about stress, what is stress type of episodes, but I think you bring a little unique perspective to the moment. You know, everybody goes through stress and we come out of it and then we go back in it. It's just a part of life. But I love how you frame it up, man, and I'm excited to talk about that today and some of the unique philosophies and unique tips and trainings that you deliver about the topic of stress.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So stress is, to me, everybody has it. And it's so unique to each individual. Sometimes there's just as many ways to create stress as there is to solve stress. Mine's just a little bit more mainstream and deals with the individual as themselves.
I like it, man. So the title of this episode is Unique Systems for Managing Stress with stress coach Andrew Oakes. He is a well-rounded stress coach with a genuine passion for helping. He teaches and guides by equipping people with unique systems for managing stress. Andrew is an expert in this field of study, not only because of his insatiable quest for acquiring new knowledge, but his first-hand experience defeating his own lifelong battle with stress, anxiety, and depression. After reinventing his life in 2014, he discovered and started building his philosophy, Sudden Comfort, using introspective trial and error method. He now wants to share some of those concepts and techniques with you. If you're interested in learning more about what Andrew is doing with his work, go to his website that's posted in the show notes, stressreliefhq.com, and his LinkedIn link is right there in the show notes. Click on that, send him a friend request, letting him know that you listened to this episode of Life Transformation Radio. So, Andrew, the first question that I have to ask, and I believe is the most important question you could ever ask yourself, is why? Why do you do what you do?
Okay. So my reason why is the first 27 years of my life I lived in darkness. I grew up in a pretty rough situation, but I learned habits that created a whole bunch of stress and anxiety and depression. I thought it was part of me. I lived with it every day. I was so depressed ever since I was a little kid all the way to an adult that I wanted to kill myself, not every day, but multiple times throughout the day. Even at birthday parties, I would often drink like 3 to 5 nights a week till blackout drunk, hoping I would never wake up. But
Dang.
Ultimately, I would hit rock bottom, and then the light would get turned on for me inside of my world, and I would escape the darkness. And once that light got turned on inside of me, it became my drive, my passion, my mission, where I would push through fears and hard times and hard things just to be able to help more people. So turning the light on for other people is my why.
I love it. I love that, man. And thinking about my own self and people that I know as well, it's so crazy that the first thing we do when we get stressed is like, I need a beer, and we just resort to alcohol. You know, I don't know. I thought it was like a military thing. You know, having spent 20 years in the military, you know, you get off work and crack that beer. It's like, let me sit down and relax for 5 minutes and grab a beer. But I don't know, man. I feel like that brought the worst out in me. Drinking to block out something, or to not feel something, or to feel something. I had a lot better time when I drank because it was somebody's birthday or wedding, or like the mindset going into that moment, I feel like shaped the way that I was when I was drinking. If I went in mad, then I was a mad drunk. If I went in happy, then I was a happy drunk, for the most part.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to me that we do this.
Yeah, we reward stress, to be honest with you. If you look at a lot of our behaviors around it, is we feel stressed, we feel angry. That's why I quit what I quit when I went through my transformational moment. That's what I realized that changed my life, is I realized that I wanted to be comfortable, because I was never comfortable with who I was. At an early age, my mom would call me homophobic slurs, and my friends and my brother and my sister would all pick on me, and because I was a very sensitive person. I always loved people and loved flowers and loved birds, and I was just very sensitive, and I loved jazz music and Boys to Men, and I learned to mask who I was. I learned to mask who I was, man. And I grew up, and here I was at 27 years old in 2013, before my transformation in 2014. I was an alligator hunter. I killed a 12-foot alligator, 545 pounds, put it in a 14-foot John boat with me. Okay, I worked for the railroad. That's one of the hardest careers you can get. I mean, I'm a hardcore track guy. Remember the old slave movies where the guy's swinging a hammer? That is my actual job. So I have all these hardcore hobbies. I'm raising my own meat and harvesting my own meat on my own farm. I'm like this hardcore guy, and I'm looking at my life like, how did I get here? I don't like killing things. I don't really like wrestling alligators. But this need to prove to everybody else around me that I was that tough guy made me forget to show that I was that sensitive guy. It didn't allow me. Now I got tattoos of flowers on my arms, dude. I don't mind what people think of me now. I'm secure with who I am. I wasn't comfortable with who I was. So I asked myself, what is this comfort thing? And I realized comfort is nothing more than a lack of discomfort. Comfort is nothing more than a lack of discomfort. If you want to be comfortable in your life, start removing some of the discomforts from your life. And one of the discomforts I realized in my life was anxiety and depression. If I, say, felt anxiety, I would go smoke a cigarette. I said, holy crap, wait a second. Hold the phone, Andrew. You can't do that no more. Because if you do that again, it's like if a kid came up and kicked you in your shin and you handed him a candy bar, what's the odds he won't come up and kick you in the shin again if he feels a craving for that candy bar?
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's true, man. It kind of goes back to what you said. We reward stress.
We sure do.
Okay.
So anxiety is a branch of stress. It all starts with stress. At the very beginning of everything is the stress. See, my wife left me 7 months into my marriage in January of 2014. By January of 2015, let's go with, all right, so 2014, cracking in the new year, I was 240 pounds. I smoked 2 packs a day, blackout drunk 3 to 5 nights a week. I chewed my nails, played video games 8 to 10 hours a day. I watched TV or always had to have the radio playing. Fast forward a year later, I was 160 pounds.
Wow.
Had a 30-inch waist, and I no longer had a single vice in my life. This philosophy helped me that much. That simple realization helped me so much that I was able to go on and do that myself, and then I went on to help others beat theirs as well. I no longer had anxiety or depression, my lifelong battle. It turns out whenever I stopped rewarding it, whenever I never could sleep through the night. I couldn't sleep past, like, say, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, unless I fell asleep drunk at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'd still be up by 5. I could never fully sleep, and it was just a frustration. When I got sober and I started laying there in the bed, I realized, I said, you know what? If I don't reward the discomfort, what if I start disciplining the discomfort? The discomfort in this situation is I'm tired of waking up in the middle of the night. So I said, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do 50 push-ups. I did that for about 3 nights, and it was hard to force myself to do it. But the 4th night, my eyes opened. I'm like, okay, I got to get up and do those push-ups. Before I could even get up and do the push-ups, I was sound back asleep. Slept all the way until my alarm went off for work. The next day, I never even woke up. I didn't have sleep problems again until I broke my neck, and that's totally different because I was in a lot of pain. But I'm still managing to sleep my periods through the night, even with the stresses that I currently have, because I won't reward those discomforts, and I am committed to disciplining those discomforts.
Got it. So let's talk about that. Sounds like it was a pretty amazing transformation as you look back on it. Probably tough going through it. So looking back, what would you say was the transformational moment that changed you and it allowed you to be on this path that you're on today?
So when my wife left, that's when that was the first time that I didn't feel suicidal that next day. One of the worst feelings in my life, it was I knew that I messed up and I had to fix it. I had to fix what I had messed up. And because I had a mission at that point. And when I had a mission, I started that dedication to growth, to getting better. I would say that would be the transformational moment, but the thing that really anchored it in is 2 weeks after I quit smoking cigarettes. And I'm a committed guy. When I do something, I'm all in or nothing. So I was literally a 2-pack-a-day smoker.
Wow.
And 2 weeks after I quit smoking cigarettes, I had already quit drinking like 2 weeks before that, quit chewing my nails. I quit everything. And cigarettes was the last one to go. I even quit caffeine. And I was drinking 2 to 3 energy drinks a day, drinking Mountain Dew, coffee. If it didn't have caffeine in it, I rarely drank it unless it was a Gatorade. So I was on the fritz, man. But the cool part is 2 weeks after I quit smoking cigarettes, an ice storm came, and I lived out in a rural area. Remember, I had that farm, and ice storms came for South Carolina, and we don't have any kind of de-icing or de-snow because we never get ice or snow here. And it was just this freak winter, and it was the coldest winter we had on record. Just 2 weeks after I quit smoking, I was without power for 11 days.
Wow.
So that, once I made it through that 11 days without smoking, I said, your life will never be the same.
Wow. Save a lot of money not smoking, too.
Oh, man, you tell me. A whole bunch.
Like, yeah, great health benefits. Right, got it. Just, the way you feel in your mind and body, great. But and that bank account sure liked it, because you figure cigarettes, depending on what they are, $6, $7. If you're a pack-a-day guy, that's $6 a day. for 5 days, it's 30. For 7 days, it's 42. So, 7 days a week. If you're buying $6, 7 days with 42 times 4 times 12. I mean, that's not chump change, man. $40 a week.
No, man.
52 weeks. I mean, you're looking at what? I mean, geez, man, that's a lot of. It's kind of a lot of money if you really think about it. It's money that maybe you didn't have before. So, I mean, that's a cool 2 G's you could have had in your pocket. But geez, man, imagine if you and a spouse smoked a pack a day. I remember my wife and I in 2014. She smoked 100s and I smoked cigars, and we were buying packs. It seemed like every other day we were buying packs, like all the time. So it was, man, it was not good. It was not good, man.
There's like a compound effect. Anytime that you get better in one quadrant, oddly enough, the other quadrants of your life also get better.
Yes. Yeah. That's true. Because it started affecting the way that we did things. Like our clothes started smelling better. Our kids enjoyed our company. I mean, it's nice to sit out on the porch, smoke a cigar, just enjoy yourself, It's a whole other thing to be like every 5 minutes got to go outside, or hold on, guys, or like smoke in the car. Like, oh man, I can't. You ever notice when you stop smoking, you get into the car and you're like, this dude smokes in his car. Like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
You just know, and it's
like, Andrew, what in the world?
Yeah, man, it just smells weird. And then you walk into a house and somebody smokes in their house and their walls are yellow.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's like super weird.
I don't want you to get too far away from that, because I want to use that, exactly what you're tapping on right there, is what it offers us is relief. And we're so stressed out, we're looking for relief. Imagine if we had to pee really, really, really bad, right? Mm-hmm. The moment, say you're rushing home from traffic, you're just barely going to get the key in the door, right? You're dancing around, you can barely move or barely stop moving, trying to get the key in the door. You rush in, you start to pee, and you're like, right at the beginning. See, that's the moment that relief showed up, okay?
Yeah.
Relief. So I'm just going to tie this to what I'm talking about here, is we're searching for that relief. See, your body had a discomfort this whole time. It was because you had to pee. Well, here's the deal. Let me ask you a question. If you have to pee really bad and you go smoke a cigarette, by the time you're done smoking a cigarette, you might have got some relief out of the cigarette, but you still have to pee. So we're seeking relief in all these vices. Well, the problem with seeking relief with all the vices is we're buying discomfort, or we're buying comfort on credit. Every comfort in your life has a discomfort attached to it. Now, this meaning that sometimes you got to put in an ass of hard work first. Sorry, my language. A buttload of hard work first, and then you get your comfort. Then you get your reward. As to where smoking a cigarette, you go and smoke the cigarette, and you get instant relief. But here's the problem. It comes with a payment. It adds back a whole bunch of discomfort to your life. So now your teeth are yellow. Your teeth are rotting. You have to go to the doctor. Your wife hates it. It costs a lot of money. So what's happening is imagine, go back to me talking about the bladder. Everybody has a certain capacity for stress. Now, what is stress? Stress is when your brain meets a discomfort, it fills your body, pushes a whole bunch of energy into your body. Brain meets discomfort, fills body with energy, because it's giving you that energy, that stress energy. Stress is an emotion. Just like love, you can feel it. It's energy in motion. Brain meets discomfort, fills body with stress energy. It's giving you the stress energy so you can remove the discomfort from your life. So go back to the idea where you have to really pee. So that is a discomfort. And think about it. You can't sit still because you have so much excessive energy raging through your body. So imagine if you just left work and you worked harder than you have in a long time, you are dead tired. You get home, you got to go take a shower because you're dirty. You barely have the energy to get in the shower. You pull back the curtain, you jump in, ice cold water comes out, hits your skin. The moment it hits your skin, the same dead body, once it gets hit with the ice water, has the reaction skills of a ninja. Now you reach up and you grab the shower head off and you point it away from your body, or maybe you duck underneath the water, or you jump out of the shower, or you put the shower curtain in between you and the cold water. See, brain met discomfort, cold water on skin, filled body with stress energy, and wow, we should be thankful for it, because look at what it does for us. We should be excited about our stress energy because we have this to remove the discomforts from our life. We're just failing to use it. Because your brain doesn't know the difference between that cold water hitting your skin or an alligator biting your leg. It just knows that you're meeting a discomfort. So if you sit around with all your discomforts rolling around in the back of your mind while you mindlessly watch TV for the next 8 hours, guess what? Your body is still filled with that stress energy. Your heart thinks that you've been outrunning a mountain lion for the last 8 hours. So it's important that we use that stress energy to remove the discomfort from our life, and we don't go and try to relieve our discomforts in something that will make us pay with more discomfort. So it's adding to our capacity, our bladder. Imagine every time you have a discomfort, that's extra air going into that bladder and stretching it out further and further and further. And then anxiety sets in because you have no hope, or you have no faith, you have no target or vision. And the last one is you don't have a system to remove the stress from your life. So therefore, anxiety starts to crack in.
Wow. That's got to be the best explanation I've ever heard.
Wow, man, I appreciate that. And that all came from my little, my head, introspective. I had time to think for the first time in my life. I finally let the thoughts run. I finally shut the noise out, and I listened to who I was for once.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said before, the way you frame it is just like, yes. Oh, man. Like, I can identify with it. I can understand it. I can put myself in that moment that happens. I can, yeah, man. Yeah. Well,
if the listeners get...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll write it down. No problem.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say was I appreciate the way that you frame it, because a lot of people, man, we've been force-fed this stuff, you know? We've been force-fed the, managing stress and do this and this. And people are like, yeah, tried it. Don't work. What you got next?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
when you put it in a way that you did, it just completely makes sense, especially, like you trade one for the other. We're like, yeah, I get it. But it's like, no, it's the relief portion. It's the, right, what you were talking about earlier. And I'm like, yeah, dude. Because you see it, man. You see it. Like I said, you come home, you sit down, you crack that beer, you're like, I sit down. So really, what was it? Was it the sitting down part? Was it that you're at the home part? Or was it because you had a beer in your hand? And we're putting these objects, the beer, the cigarette, the whatever, we're putting these objects as our system of relief rather than maybe going to the gym, maybe working out at home, maybe spending time with our family. I was in a conversation with somebody who said, man, I hated when I smoked. At the time, I loved it. But I look back on it, and I hated it. I'd be at a dinner party, and I'm the only one going outside to smoke. And everybody's having fun. I'm looking through the restaurant window, and I see everybody having fun, but I got to be outside having a cigarette.
You got to pull over and smoke on a road trip.
Yep. Every time you get gas, you got to go somewhere to like a rest stop or something just so you get, if you don't want to smoke in the car. Crazy, man. And it's no different with these e-cigarettes. It's no different with the e-cigarettes. Same thing. People are like, I'm not really smoking.
I don't want your listeners thinking I'm beating up on your vices. I'm not saying quit your vices right now, but what I am saying is acknowledge the fact that you are seeking relief in them and start putting your distance in between a bad feeling. Never reward a discomfort. Never do it. If you feel anxious, you feel angry, you're finding ways to get to these states to feel stressed out or anxious, don't reward it with a dopamine hit. Don't reward it. Addiction is not your friend. Addition leads to addiction. ADD, add, is the first three letters of addition, first three letters of addiction. If we think that the only way we can be okay, how about the lady that coaches herself into saying that I'm a B word if I don't have my morning coffee, so don't talk to me until I have it. See, now was it always the case? Now, was that always the case? Or did she end up coaching herself into believing she was not whole? So here we are. You wonder why we're so stressed out and feel depressed? Because we can't even feel whole without these additions that we've added in our life, or we have to have these things to be okay, when truly we have enough to be okay. But our system, the way we've been taught, like you see a kid crying, well, here, kid, have some candy. Don't cry. We were taught to medicate and to self-medicate in a sense, okay? And I'm not saying come off medications. I'm not saying quit your vices. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm just saying, hey, be aware of your when you're feeling a discomfort, put time in, so don't feel the impulse to go reward it. Say, wait 15 minutes, wait 20 minutes. Or if you want to shorten that window, do 50 push-ups. Then reward doing the push-ups, not the discomfort.
Right.
Reward doing the push-ups, not the discomfort. So only reward yourself on the good things and just realize that there's nothing wrong with you. We were just taught in this system that we need to be adding things. Well, if you look at the Buddhists, they say the root of all suffering is attachment. The root of all suffering is attachment. We have all these things attached to our lives, and we're taught that we need to be adding to solve our problems. And they don't teach us this in school either. So don't feel down on yourself that you don't know it yet.
Keep thinking about how many lives would be saved if we taught kids soft skills.
Man.
You can imagine if there was an emotional intelligence class for like fifth period.
It'd be a different world. It'd be a lot different world. 86% of people were found to be unhappy in 2016. Gallup did a poll in 2016. 86% of people admitted to being unhappy. That is 4 years before this pandemic.
Shit. Oh, dude. The suicide rates have skyrocketed to 100%. Like increased 100%. All-time highs for mental health. Like, the stress, the anxiety, and the clinical diagnosed mental health ailments. All-time high. Suicides, high. Divorce rate, high.
Yep.
Man.
Prescribing more medicine than they ever have.
Yep. I don't know if it's because we're not teaching resilience to people, or it's because we're being spoon-fed by our circle of influence, scientists, doctors, media, whatever, or as a society, we've just grown accustomed to, I want what I want. I'm going to go to the bar, or I'm going to go wherever. Addictions have risen a lot in 2020.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's going to do the same thing in 2021. So, people are searching for that relief, except we're not giving them the tools to find it.
You're absolutely right. They're hurting. They're hurting, man. They need better friends. They need better influence. They need to cut the TV off. The news is one of the worst. So you remember I talked about the bladder. You have a certain amount of capacity. Some people can handle a lot. Say a road trip, somebody can go 8 hours without peeing. Some people only an hour. My sister, she had to pee every hour. My dad hated it. So, your capacity, right, for stress is the same way as your bladder. So the more discomforts that are in your life, the more full that bladder fills. And then the more discomfort your brain meets, the more energy it's dumping in your body. Think about it. The leading cause of death in America or in the world is cardiovascular disease. Now, it's linked somewhat to diet, but if you look at it, it is also linked to stress. And some of these countries that eat poor diets but have low stress end up living longer. So to me, it is the stress that we are facing in our life, because you're sitting on the couch, but your heart thinks you're running. for the last 8 hours. Remember, you're still sitting in a state of discomfort. Just because you're not focusing on it in your conscious mind doesn't mean the 95% control, your subconscious mind, doesn't see it. It still sees it. It's still sitting there with you. You have to remove these little discomforts from your life. You have to make some extra room in that bladder to be okay. You have to, and here's the cool part. Remember I said that moment that you just start peeing, you're like, Just think about it like this. You remove those little discomforts. Like you keep banging your knee on the dresser. Move the dresser. If you keep taking the cup in from your cup holder in the car and you leave a ring on your desk, clean the cup holder, clean the desk, clean the cup. You see, you start removing these little discomforts, and it's like you start peeing, but you're purging the discomfort. And the cool part is relief shows up right from the beginning. It shows up as soon as you start. So maybe you're in a dark place right now. If you are in a super dark place right now, for the listeners, find your breath. Can you feel your breath? Can you feel your breath right now? If you can, you have made it through 100% of the adversities, the tough times, the difficulties. You've made it through 100% of the things you've ever worried about. You're a winner. You're on a winning streak. If you are in a dark place, you are only 3 days away or just a couple of hours away from a brighter place. Just start removing the little discomforts. I know they might seem silly. They might seem simple, like trimming the nose hair that's tickling your face in the board meeting. That is messing with your overall comfort. See, you can't show up confident without comfort. Confidence can't exist without comfort. That's what it is. Comfortable. So if you're sitting in a state with a nose hair tickling your pants, your belt's too tight on your waist, right? You got a hole in your sock. You're not going to be in a place or a state of comfort. So you're not going to come off confident. But if you want to get to a state of comfort in your life, you start removing these little simple discomforts like trimming the nose hair, cleaning the cup holder, moving the dresser.
Yep.
It's not
so
addition.
Fix the root cause. That's what I got out of that whole thing. Right. Fix the root cause. Don't put Band-Aids on it. Fix the root cause.
Pluck it out. Get rid of it. And then add back quality stuff. 99% of the people, or the 99% of the people that graduated at the top of their psychology or sociology classes, they work in media or they work in government. So if you know this, stop letting them feed you discomforts, because if I feed you discomforts and I control what you reward your discomfort with, who wins?
Yeah, man. I never really thought about it that way.
If I make you feel uncomfortable in a news story and then I flash my Hardee's menu right behind it, guess what I just triggered? I have triggered your discomfort reward system. I feel a discomfort, I go reward it. And guess who just moved up on the hierarchy of rewards? Hardee's. Maybe you don't crave that burger that they just showed, but you realize they got a milkshake back there.
Yeah. Yep. Holy cow, man. You make a good point. I never really realized that. They're rewarding the discomfort area. It makes a lot of sense.
Turn that news off.
Yeah, man. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't really think about it that way. See, I told you guys, this guy is freaking amazing, man. He's going to make you think a little bit, which is what we need to be doing anyways. And what I learned in my whole process of overcoming alcohol abuse and quitting smoking and everything is you reward, or replace, I should say, one addiction for another. That's all you do. You just replace it with another one. So as I'm getting rid of my stuff, I started getting into hobbies and building hot rods and building businesses. And I just put my energy from the drinking or the smoking or the whatever. I put my energy into something else. It can be positive, like your family. All that money, all that energy that went towards that one act, that one thing, put it towards your family. Put it towards a business. Put it towards an exercise routine. You are already expending the energy and the money anyways. Just put it towards something that's going to make you live longer, make you happier, and it's going to allow you to do something good for other people.
That's it, man. Go get those memories. Go travel. Go do the things you keep promising yourself you're going to do.
Right. Yep. But, like you said, they're comfortable. That's why they don't do it. Right?
Well, they're familiar. There is no comfort zone. I think that's a load of crock. These people talk about the comfort zone. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to get out of your comfort zone. No, there's no comfort zone. It's horse crap. I'm telling you, the only comfort zone is relief. That's the only time. It's called sudden comfort. It's that moment when comfort shows back up. Remember when you start peeing and you're like, that moment right there is the only comfort zone in life. And those happen, and you can sit inside of that state for a little bit, but it doesn't work real good because life is always going to be handing you discomforts. But you got to understand that it is very important to understand that there's two different types of discomfort. There's a positive discomfort and there's a negative discomfort. The way you're meeting your needs, if you're removing a negative discomfort from your life because whatever it is meeting your needs, say the smoking, right? You remove it, like he said, you got to fulfill it with something positive on the other side that still meets those same needs to an equal or greater value. Now, look up the 6 basic human needs from Tony Robbins, and I get too deep into that. But I lost where I was going with that, man. But it's important to understand that there is no comfort zone. There's no comfort zone. What it is a familiar zone. You're familiar with the discomforts that are sitting around in your life. If you were comfortable, you would not be anxious. If you were comfortable, you would not be stressed out. If you were comfortable, you would not be depressed. You weren't comfortable. You were not. You were familiar. And you got to take on positive. You got to take on positive discomforts in your life. See, just effort alone is a positive discomfort. Putting in the effort to move the dresser is a positive discomfort. So a positive plus a negative equals 0. 0 is where you're heading. 0 is your sudden comfort. 0 is your relief. See, I say sudden, S-U-D-D-E-N, sudden, because it happens all of a sudden. I don't know how many dressers or how many little discomforts that you have to remove in your life before all of a sudden it hits you, but you're going to feel it. You're going to be standing in the kitchen like, oh, my God, Andrew Oakes was right. He was right. I feel it. I feel it. You're going to have that moment.
Man, that's powerful, man. Yeah, no comfort zone, just a familiar zone. This is what humans are creatures of habit, and we'll keep going to the same place, and we'll keep going to the same person. That's why we go back to bad relationships, because you love that person, you want to help them, but man, they treat you like crap, and they always go back, and they go back, and they go back. There's a lot of psychology in that too. So, man, mind blowing, dude. Mind blowing. No comfort zone. I'm gonna start saying that. I'm gonna start telling people that. I'm like, yo, Andrew says. How people are always like, well, Benjamin Franklin once said, and I'm gonna be like, Andrew Oakes says, there is no comfort zone. Okay, there's a familiar zone. It's what you like doing because it works for you. So you need to grow a little bit, get out of this familiarity, and try something new.
Yeah, man. Take on those type 2 discomforts, those positive discomforts. Like, I don't like flying. And I never read a book until I was 27 years old. See, I was a dumb guy, ADHD. I failed 7th grade with a 40 in English. And I read every day now. It takes me a lot longer than anybody else, but I read because I know that there's a value in that information. And I also fly. When I was terrified of flying my entire life, I've been scared of a lot of things. That's why I always had to prove that I was a man, because I was so scared of all these things. But I fly regularly and I read regularly. You know why?
Good.
Because at the end of both, I am somewhere else that I want to be. I choose the destination for the plane. I choose the destination for the book. They're all self-development. If you tackle those type 2 discomforts in your life gets exponentially better. You have to grow through some of these ceilings. And when you start growing through some of these ceilings, I never even raised my hand in class. And look, I've been on 3 podcasts this week. I never liked attention. But when you find your passion, you find your purpose. When you're crashing through these ceilings, you'll crash through even more ceilings. Because your passion and your purpose is bigger than your fears. It's bigger than your dislikes. You will make the sacrifices. If you do not sacrifice for what you want will become the sacrifice. Life is all about removing type 1 negative discomforts and adding back those type 2 positive discomforts and growing. Growth is everything.
Yeah. Powerful, man. Super powerful. As we start winding down the show, tell everybody how you elevate the world around you. You're a stress coach, so people are working with you to lower their stress. But in your own words, man, tell them, how do you elevate the world around you?
I teach people that they're enough, and I just teach them new ways to look at their life, to look at their mindset, to look at their behaviors, and re-diagnose it, and to restructure things. Because if you're not happy right now, you got to change. The only way your life is going to change is if you change. You can change your job and not change you. It won't be long before that boss is a jerk too.
Yeah. Well, there's a saying in the Air Force, or in the I guess in the military, but there's a saying in the Air Force. There's only two good bases that you could go to. It's the one you're leaving and the one you're going to. And it's just a way to say that, you know what, every place is going to be awesome or every place is going to suck. It's up to you.
That's it.
There's only two good places to be stationed at in the military. It's the base you're leaving and the base you're going to, because you're leaving and you're like, oh man, like I had such a great time here, but I'm really excited to go to this other one. Or, man, this place sucked, man, I can't wait to leave. You become happy. It's like, man, I can't wait. But that place wasn't even that bad. It was you. I mean, yeah, bad leadership is going to be everywhere.
Absolutely.
But really, it's up to you to make the most of each moment. It's up to you to make yourself happy. Nobody else's responsibility to make you happy. You make your own happiness. That's why it's called pursuit of happiness. There's issue it out, you know. You don't issue it out at the end of the month.
And happiness is a scale. So imagine happiness plus stress. If you're rating it on a 10 scale, happiness plus stress always equals 10. So if your stress is a 7, your happiness is a 3. You have to address the stresses in your life. You can't run from them. You can't take the relief in these vices and not remove the discomforts from your life. So the way I lift people up is basically I get them to understand that a better future for them exists, and I teach them, and I guide them into realizing that the better them, the better you is possible. The person that belongs in that dream is possible.
Yeah. Wow, man. Very, very, very cool. I like how you frame it, man. Like you're just the mind, like how it works. And I love the visual representations that you give, man, about reframing. I have a saying, you reframe your mind, you reframe your whole life.
You do. Oh my God. It's so true. I changed me and everybody around me changed. It was so weird.
Yep. Well, when you see things in a different perspective, you see things in a different light. It's like people who, when you have near-death experiences, your priorities change, your thoughts change. Like, whew, and that was close. It kind of wakes you up a little bit. Well, we need to be doing that stuff every day.
Yeah.
Like literally, we need to be doing that stuff every day, man. So here's what I'll do. I want you to, you gave some amazing content, man. I can't thank you enough. This has been absolutely incredible. But I want to give you one last chance, man. What do you want to tell the audience? What piece of advice did you want to give them? What could you give to the audience in our last minute here?
Okay. So, all right, I'm just going to keep rolling with what you just said, because this is powerful. This is very important. Sometimes you're lucky enough to have someone die. Now, that seems sad. Sometimes you're lucky enough to have a wife leave you. My grandmother died when I was 24. My wife left me at 27. My grandmother meant everything to me, and I wasn't right in my head. But I was so blessed that my wife left me, that I was spun out, and I went into this direction that I have now. But sometimes those moments, those big bad moments that sometimes have these great seed of equivalent benefit, these wonderful things Napoleon Hill talks about, seed of equivalent benefit. They have these great things attached to them, the bad moments in our life. The grief comes. Yes, it hurts. But they trigger these changes like, it reminds us to live. If you're not going to experience this big trigger moment, this big ball of pain, and you get to avoid it, it's going to be hard to change. unless you decide that you hate your life that you have now or dislike it, and you don't try to change it by overbuilding. You don't say, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. Well, you haven't been to the gym in 5 years. Just start small. Start small. Say just go walk 3 mailboxes a day. Make that your stipulation. I got to walk 3 mailboxes past my house and back a day. And then just add on 2 weeks later. So you're only looking for like a 5% change, a 3% change, just something small to get the momentum going. But whenever you're not having these big trigger moments in your life, if you're not fed up yet, you're just kind of tired, just start with small little progress.
Yeah.
Remove the dresser. One discomfort a day.
Right.
Wash the car this weekend.
I love it. Dude, powerful, man. You are a powerful human being. Your mind works in amazing ways. I love how you frame it. I love how you put it into action. And I know the listeners are definitely going to get something out of this episode, man. You got to reframe your mind so that you can reframe your life. That's to be the theme of the show. You got to reframe your mind so you can reframe your life. Love it. Andrew, you're a rock star. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It's been awesome.
It's been great, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do. You know that.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Where do you want the listeners to go? Is stressreliefhq.com? Is that where you want everybody to go?
Social media. Yeah, you can go to stressreliefhq.com. You can book free calls with me. I mean, there's plenty of ways to find me. You can find me, Andrew S. Oakes, on Facebook, and I'm all over LinkedIn. Stress Relief HQ is the groups that I have across those platforms.
Again, thank you so much for your time, man. It's been absolutely incredible.
It's been great, brother. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around him. If any part of our conversation today about managing stress resonated with you, please reach out to Andrew Oakes. He is doing phenomenal work, changing and transforming lives, and even transforming and changing his own life in real time. Reach out to him at stressreliefhq.com. His LinkedIn link is right there in the show notes. Click on that, connect with him, send him a friend request, letting him know that you listened to his episode of Life Transformation Radio. As we close the show, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live an amazing life.